Hi everyone, welcome to Little Things. I'm Elise and I'm here to help you find comfort within yourself through crocheting. Today we're finally making a bag tutorial for the very first time. So hooray! This is an absolute beginner tutorial, so if you've never crocheted before, this would be a perfect project. Because all the stitches are very simple and also very repetitive. So this is a perfect chance for you to practice your stitches. Also, really important announcement. We have just opened our online yarn store at littlethingsworld.com. It's really crazy to see how it all started from just a thought, and after months and months of preparation, we have finally come to life. Crocheting has got me through the loneliest and the toughest nights while I was studying abroad in Australia, and I really hope that I could bring the same comfort that it brings me to you. So if you want to support us, go get your matching yarn at littlethingsworld.com, and we ship worldwide. And I'm trying to give my brand mascot Lumi a whole storyline. I have a rough idea of her looks, the art style, but as someone who's not an illustrator, it's really hard to turn that vision into actual designs. I used to scroll endlessly on Pinterest, trying to get inspiration from others' artwork, but when I actually sat down and picked up my pen to draw Lumi, I still had no clue where to start. Then I discovered Kittle Flows. Kittle Flows is a design tool that quickly turns one idea into dozens of design variations. I was able to turn my character Lumi from just a sketch into many designs in just a few clicks. Here's how I did it. First, I picked a smartboard template, I imported my Lumi sketch, then edit the prompt in the smartboard and click generate. And you'll see how your vision will come to life. I love tweaking the same design with different art style to see how it looks. You can also create a new smartboard and make adjustment based on the previous design. Since then, I had no more inspiration paralysis. It's like having a whole creative team on standby. What surprised me the most is how I could create mock-up for Lumi's future merchandise, like t-shirt, packaging box, tote bag, hydro flask, notebook, stickers, and so many more. And let me tell you, some of the design actually sparked a new idea that I'd never thought of. So whether you're developing a brand, working on a side project, or trying to bring your creative thoughts to life without spending hours being stuck in the concept phase, trust me, Kittle Flows will be your best friend. So try Kittle Flow for free today. Link in my description box. So now let's talk about materials. I'll be using my own Little Things yarn in the color of 50. I used around 150 gram yarn, so around 3 yarn balls, and 3mm hook, darning needle, and scissors. So without further ado, let's get right into the tutorial! So first, let's start with slip knot. And to make a slip knot, first we're going to grab the yarn tail using our right hand. With our left hand, we're pointing up 2 fingers. Then we're going to use that 2 fingers to grab the yarn. And then we're basically going to create a loop on our 2 fingers, like this. And after this, we are going to slide our thumb into the loop, and then we are going to use our thumb to grab the yarn tail on the right. Then we're going to pull it through the loop on our left hand. Ta-da! So here is your slip knot, and we are going to pull the yarn tail to tighten the knot. Then we're going to grab our hook and then insert our hook into the loop. Then the loop is currently too big for our hook, so we're going to grab the yarn tail and pull it. And by pulling it, the loop will be smaller and it will fit perfectly around our hook. And this is how I hold my yarn. We're basically going to grab the working yarn using our ring finger and pinky like this. Then we're going to bring our hook along with the yarn behind our index finger and over and on top, just like this. Then we're going to be using our middle finger and thumb to hold onto our piece, like this. And our index finger is always pointed up. And now we're going to make something called foundation chain. And don't worry, we're going to go through it very slowly so you can definitely follow. So first we're going to bring our hook behind and over our working yarn like this. And see how the working yarn is wrapped around our hook. Then we're going to pull it through the loop on our hook. Slowly pull it through like this. And ta-da, here is our first chain. See, it's not that hard, so trust me on this. We're going to make a total of 55, so let's make our second one. Bring our hook behind and over of the working yarn, like this. Wrap the yarn around your hook, Then pull it through the loop on your hook. Just do it slowly like this. And here is our second chain. Now let's make our third one. Yarn over. Once your hook is grabbed onto the yarn, then we're going to pull it through the loop on our hook. Like this. And now we have a total of 3 chains. We need a total of 55 chains. Then again, make our 4th chain, yarn over of the working yarn, and then pull it through the loop on your hook. And ta-da! Here is our 4th one. So it kind of looks like a braid. And then do it again, yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook. And then we're going to make our 5th, yarn over, bring our hook behind over on top of the working yarn, then pull it through the loop on your hook. Just like this. Then again, for our 6th chain, so yarn over on the working yarn, bring our hook behind the working yarn, then over and on top, wrap it around your hook, and pull it through the loop on your hook, just like this. So I'm gonna go a little bit faster, and we're just going to make a total of 55, and I'll meet you when I'm done. And now I've finished making 55 chains, and you should have a long string like this. And now we're gonna make our first stitches. So the first stitch that we're gonna do is called single crochet, and it's the easiest stitch, so yeah, bear with me. So what I'm pointing at is the second chain from hook, basically the second V from hook. We're skipping the first V, the first chain, and going straight to the second one. So just insert your hook into the middle of the V, just picking up one loop like this. Then bring our hook on top of the working yarn in the front, unlike a yarn over, and then pull it through the loop. Pull it through the chain, and that will bring up a loop. Now we got 2 loops on our hook, like this, yarn over. So bring our hook behind and over the working yarn, and then pull it through both loops on our hook. And ta-da! Here is our first single crochet. With the first loop of every round, we're going to place the stitch marker on the top V, basically the stitch, to mark the very first stitch. Then we're going to continue. We're going to move on to the next V, and we're going to insert our hook into the upcoming V, just picking up one loop like this. And then we're going to do a yarn under, basically bring our hook forward, and then on top of the working yarn like this. So this is called a yarn under. Then pull it through the chain. Also, yarn under is opposite of yarn over, basically. Then do a yarn over, bring our hook under, behind, and over the working yarn. Then pull it through both loops on our hook, just like this. And ta-da! We now have 2 single crochet. Now we're gonna do our third one. So insert our hook into the upcoming V. Insert your hook into the V, picking up one loop. Then we're going to do a yarn under, bring our hook forward, and then just on top of the working yarn. Then pull it through the chain. Now we've got 2 loops on our hook, like this. We're going to do a yarn over, basically opposite of yarn under, then pull it through the 2 loops on your hook. Now we're going to do this again, insert our hook into the upcoming chain. Remember, you're only picking up one loop. Then do a yarn under. So basically just like place your hook on the working yarn from the front, then pull it through the chain. Now we have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over. So bring our hook under, behind, and over like this. Pull it through, 2 loops on your hook. Now we got 4 single crochet, congrats. Then do it again. Insert your hook into the upcoming chain, yarn under, then pull it through the chain. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. We're going to do the opposite of yarn under. So we're going to yarn over, on the working yarn, pull it through, 2 loops on our hook. So essentially, first time we're gonna yarn under, then next time we're gonna do a yarn over. So it's opposite. So yarn under first, like this, and then yarn over. So bring our hook behind, over and on top, like this. So now we have made a few stitches. I'm just gonna go through it a little bit quicker because we're essentially just going to make a bunch of single crochet all across, and yeah, basically very repetitive. So if you forgot how to do it, you can always rewatch the first few stitches because it's gonna bore you guys if I continue making it very slow. And I just wanted to check in with you guys. I'm halfway there, doing the exact same stitch all over, very repetitive. And now I've reached my very last chain. So insert our hook into the last V, yarn under, pull through the chain, and then you'll get 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops. And ta-da, there you go. Here is your first row. Then we're gonna start making our second row, which is very exciting. So we're going to flip our work because we can only crochet from the right to the left. Now we're gonna flip our work, so grab the start of the project and then flip it to our left like this. So now our hook with the loop on it is on our right, and we're facing the wrong side of our piece. So now let's start our project. Start by chaining 1, so yarn over, bring our hook behind, over and on top, pull through the loop on your hook. And we have just started our round. Now we're going to insert our hook into the very first stitch, which is this little bump here, closest to the chain. Insert your hook into there and then do a yarn under. So bring our hook in front of the working yarn on top from the front here, and then pull it through the first stitch. Now we've got 2 loops on our hook, just like a normal single crochet. Yarn over, so bring our hook behind, over and on top, pull it through both loops on our hook. And since this is our very first stitch, we're gonna grab our stitch marker and place it on the first stitch here. So you can see that there is a V on the top here. Just place it under the V like this. Now we're going to continue making 1 stitch at a time on every single stitch. Now moving on to the second stitch, insert your hook into the second bump. And remember, when you insert your hook, you're going under a V like this. So you're going under 2 loops. Then we're going to make a single crochet. So yarn under, pull it through the both loops of the stitch. Now we got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. Now ta-da, here is your second stitch. Now we're gonna repeat this until the end of the row. So first insert your hook, then yarn under, pull through the stitch. Now I got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. Just like this. Now insert your hook into the 4th bump, a little black dot there, and then yarn under. Now that will bring up a loop, so 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, and pull through these 2 loops all together. So insert your hook, yarn under. Make sure you're going under both loops when you insert your hook. Now we got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now we're just going to repeat this until the very end, until you reach the stitch marker. So now I've reached the stitch marker. That means I'm on my very last stitch. So we just need to take out our stitch marker, and then place our very last stitch exactly on that stitch. So insert your hook where the stitch marker was located, then place a single crochet. And now we have finished our row 2. So you should have a long row of single crochet like this. Now we're gonna flip our work, so bring our work, the end of the piece, towards the left like this, and our hook and the loop on our hook would be on our right. Now we're gonna start our row 3. So start by chaining 1, so yarn over, then pull it through the loop on your hook like this. Now we're gonna insert our hook into the very first bump, which is the first stitch like this. Then we're gonna do a yarn under, pull it through the first stitch. Now we got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on our hook. And this is our first stitch of row 3. As usual, you're gonna mark the very first stitch with a stitch marker. Then we're gonna go ahead and make the second stitch. So insert your hook into the upcoming stitch. Make sure you're going under both loops of the stitch. Then make a single crochet. Now this is going to be very repetitive. We're essentially gonna repeat what we've done for the previous round, placing 1 single crochet in each and every stitch until you reach the stitch marker. Then again, insert your hook going through 2 loops, basically the V, then yarn under, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. And here is our 4th stitch. Again, insert your hook, yarn under, and then pull it through the stitch. Now we got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. And now we're just gonna finish it on our own because it's very, very repetitive. It's a whole row of single crochet, same stitch all over and over again. So I'll meet you when I'm almost done. Now I'm on my second last stitch. Same thing, insert your hook, place a single crochet like this. Then I've reached the stitch marker. Basically just take out the stitch marker and then insert your hook right where the stitch marker was located, going through a V, and then place our last single crochet, just like this. Now we have a whole row of single crochet, and you can kind of see there's a height to it now. We're gonna flip it and then we're gonna make another row, and we're gonna make a whole rectangle out of this. So start by yarning over, chain 1, and then insert your hook into the first stitch, then make a single crochet. Now it's the first stitch. Again, you cannot miss this. You have to put a stitch marker, or else it's really easy for you to forget where this first stitch was. Then we're gonna repeat what we've done again. Insert your hook into the next bump. Make sure you're going under the V, then place a single crochet. Now again, insert your hook and then place another single crochet. Now let's make our 4th one. Since it's getting a little bit repetitive, I'm gonna go over it fairly quicker, and then I'll meet you when I'm almost done with this row. Now I'm just making my very last stitch here. So remove the stitch marker and make my last stitch of the row. Now we just finished round 4, so flip our work, and then we're gonna start working on round 5. Start by chaining 1 as usual, yarn over on the working yarn, pull it through the loop on your hook, like this. Then we're gonna insert our hook into the first stitch from the previous round. Insert a hook, yarn under, pull it through the first stitch. Now we've got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on our hook. Now we have just finished our first stitch. As usual, place a stitch marker into the very first stitch, going through the both V. Then continue making single crochet into the upcoming stitch. We're basically going to repeat the whole process until we have a total of 18 rows. Now we're on row 5. And the process is the exact same. So if you forgot how to do it or you want a slower demonstration, you can always rewatch the beginning parts where I demonstrate it very slowly. So we're going to continue crocheting until we're on row 18. Now I'm on row 18 and I have 2 more stitches left. So making my second last stitch of row 18 and then my last stitch here. And ta-da, here is the bottom of our knit bag. We're gonna make a whole row of single crochet on 4 sides of our piece. So kind of like making a border around our piece. So we're gonna start with our left side on the side of our rectangle. And since we have 18 rows of single crochet, we're gonna make 18 stitches per row. So now we're gonna insert our hook into any loop, basically, that we can get our hook into on the side, and then make our single crochet. And this is my first single crochet, and then put the stitch marker into the first stitch. Now we're going to make single crochet for each and every row, and as you can see, I'm pointing at the second row of single crochet, and we're just going to make a single crochet on the side of the row. So insert your hook into basically any loop that you can get your hook into, then place a single crochet. We're just going to make a whole row of single crochet on the side of our piece, and then just insert a hook into the third row, and then into the hole and make a single crochet. And then for our fourth row, same thing. You should be able to see there is a bunch of holes there, and basically that's where you insert your hook into. We're basically going to repeat this until we have 18 single crochet and reach the corner of our piece. And I'm making my very last stitch here. And then you'll be able to see you have a row of single crochet on the side here. Now we're going to make another row of single crochet on the other side of our piece. Now since this is a corner stitch, we're going to insert our hook back into the same exact stitch as we did last stitch, and we're just going to make 2 single crochet in total on that stitch, on that corner stitch. Now as usual, place the stitch marker, and we're just going to place 1 single crochet in each and every stitch all across this side here. So placing my second single crochet there. You can basically see little holes there, and that's exactly where you're going to insert your hook into. Now we're almost done with our row, and I just have around like 3 to 4 stitches left. Just go ahead and finish it off. And And then we're going to make our very last stitch here. Insert your hook into the last hole here. It might be a little bit tight because you might accidentally pull the yarn tail. That would tighten the last stitch, but just insert your hook there. And again, this is a turning stitch. We're gonna make another row of single crochet on the other side. So going back into the same stitch that we did, going back into the same hole, place our first single crochet there. And remember, you should put the tail on your hook. And so when you do the stitches, it'll be hidden inside that stitch, just like this. And then place a single crochet here. And that would be your very first stitch of the other side. Now again, we're gonna make 18 stitches, placing one single crochet in every row of the single crochet row that we did. So placing our second stitch, make sure that the tail is caught on your hook, and just going into the third row here of our piece, and then just place our third single crochet. Remember to caught the yarn tail as well, like this. And then our fourth row here, insert a hook into the hole and do a single crochet. Then again, now I'm making my very last stitch of this side. Now we're going to count if we actually got 18 stitches. And now we're going to crochet the other side. So insert your hook into the upcoming stitch and then make a single crochet there. And then since this is our very first stitch, we're going to place our stitch marker there. And this row is probably going to be the easiest because you can see that there is a bunch of V, basically a normal stitch, and that's where you just insert your hook into. So just place one single crochet in each and every stitch, like how we used to basically. And then just crochet all across until the end of the row. Now I've reached the very last stitch of the row, so just placing my very last single crochet here. And then here is our first stitch off the side. So remove the stitch marker and we're going to do a slip stitch. So insert a hook into the stitch, do a yarn under, and then pull it through the stitch. Now we have two loops on our hook. With the loop that we pulled up on the left, we're going to pull it through the loop on our right. Now congrats, we've just finished the bottom of our piece, and now we're going to start making the body of our bag. Start by chaining 3, so yarn over, pull through, and then chain 3 like this. Now we're going to make a new stitch called double crochet, and it's just a little bit different than a single crochet, but don't worry, don't be intimidated. I'm going to go over it very slowly. Now we're going to start by yarning over before inserting our hook into the stitch, and then we're just going to skip one stitch and then insert our hook into the upcoming, basically the second stitch, and insert your hook and then yarn under, just like a single crochet. Place your hook on top of the working yarn and pull it through the stitch. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over on the working yarn and pull through 2 loops at a time. So we're going to pull through the first 2 loops on our hook, just like this. Now that will bring up a loop. Now we have 2 loops on our hook left. We're going to yarn over and pull through the rest of the 2 loops on our hook. So yarn over, pull through 2 loops, just like this. And ta-da, here is our very first double crochet, and it's actually not that hard. It's just like a repetitive version of single crochet, a taller version. Now we're going to chain 2, so yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook, then do it again, yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook. Now we're going to make our double crochet again, and just like how we used to, start by yarning over, and then we're going to skip the upcoming 2 stitches and then insert our hook into the 3rd stitch from our previous stitch. So insert your hook like this, bring our hook in front of the working yarn and on top, basically a yarn under, and then pull it through the stitch. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops at a time. So yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops on our hook, like this. Now that will bring up a loop. Now we have 2 loops on our hook left. Yarn over and pull through rest of the 2 loops. And congrats, here is your second double crochet. Now we're going to make another double crochet right next to the previous double crochet. So start by yarning over, insert a hook into the upcoming V, which is the upcoming stitch. You don't have to skip any stitches, just the upcoming one. So insert a hook and then yarn under, pull it through the stitch. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops at a time. So pull through the first 2 loops like this. We now have 2 loops left on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the rest of the 2 loops. And you'll have 2 double crochet back to back like this. And now we're going to make a little like mesh pattern. So chain 2 to create the gap in the middle. So chain 2 like this. Now we're going to skip the upcoming 2 stitches like how we did before and make double crochet on the 3rd stitch. So start by yarning over, insert your hook into the 3rd stitch. So this is the 1, 2, 3, the 3rd stitch here. Insert your hook into that stitch and place a double crochet. So yarn under, pull through this stitch. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops at a time. Just a little tip here, see how my middle finger is holding onto the loops. Highly recommend that because that would prevent the loops from sliding, you know, all across your hook, and then it's hard to crochet. So just using your finger to secure the loops like this would be easier. And then yarn over, pull through the rest of the 2 loops like this. And ta-da, here is your 4th double crochet. Congrats! Now we're gonna make another double crochet right next to the previous one without skipping any stitch. So yarn over, insert a hook into the upcoming stitch, and then do a yarn under, pull it through the stitch. Now we have 3 loops on our hook like this. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops at a time. So pulling through the first 2 loops. Now we have 2 loops left on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the rest of the 2 loops like this. And you can kind of see the pattern here. You can see the net back is kind of coming to life. Now we're gonna go ahead and chain 2, and that will create the gap in the middle. Then make a double crochet into the 3rd stitch. Insert a hook into the 3rd stitch, and then do a double crochet. Yarn under, pull through. Now we have 3 loops in our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops at a time. And then yarn over, pull through the rest of the 2 loops. And this is our first double crochet. Make our 2nd double crochet into the next stitch. You don't have to skip any stitches. So yarn under, pull it through the stitch. We have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops at a time. Yarn over, pull through the rest of the 2 loops like this. And then to make the gap, we're gonna go ahead and chain 2, and then yarn over, insert your hook into the 3rd stitch from the previous stitch. 1, 2, 3 like this, and then insert a hook into the 3rd stitch. Yarn under, pull it through the stitch. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops at a time. And then again, yarn over, insert a hook into the upcoming stitch, the next stitch from the previous double crochet. Yarn under, pull it through the stitch. Now we got 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops at a time. And then we're basically going to continue this pattern all across for all 4 sides. And now let's chain 2 to make the gap. And since we're in the corner, we don't have to skip the upcoming 2 stitches, even though we just chain 2 and that will create a gap. But since it's in the corner, we don't have to skip any stitch. So insert your hook into the upcoming stitch without skipping any stitch and place a double crochet. Yarn over, on the working yarn, pull through 2 loops at a time. Pull through 2 loops at a time. Then make another double crochet right next to it. So yarn over, insert your hook into the upcoming stitch. Yarn under, pull it through the stitch. We have 3 loops on our hook. Pull through 2 loops at a time. Like this. And we're going to continue this pattern chain 2 for making the gap, and then yarn over, insert our hook into the third stitch from our previous stitch, and then make a double crochet. So yarn under, we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops at a time, like this, and then yarn over again, insert a hook into the upcoming stitch without skipping any stitch, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops at a time, just like this. And it's getting kind of repetitive, so I'm just gonna show you how I do it and then slowly do it faster. So if you forgot how to do it, you can always rewatch the earlier parts, because the whole pattern is basically the same thing. So you can see the pattern here basically, and just going to repeat this for all the 4 sides of our base. I've almost reached the end of the row, so the same thing, yarn over, skip two stitches, and then make my first double crochet here. Then do another double crochet right next to the previous double crochet. Like this. Now chain 2 again, we're gonna start crocheting on the side as well. So since we have reached the corner of our piece, we do not have to skip 2 stitches like how we normally do to create the gap. It's a corner, so we just need to insert our hook into the upcoming stitch and make a double crochet like this. And as you can see, even though we didn't skip any stitch, you can still see that there is a gap, and we basically need to do that for every corner. So to clarify, basically on the sides you need to skip 2 stitches to create the gap, but when you reach the corner you don't have to skip any stitches to make the gap. And then we're going to continue with this pattern. Make our first double crochet here. After that, make another consecutive double crochet into the upcoming stitch. And then because we're on the side, not the corner, we need to chain 2 and skip 2 stitches like this and continue with the pattern. And then I've reached the other side as well, so yarn over, pull through to make 2 chains basically. Then remove the stitch marker, and then we're gonna start making this pattern on the other side as well. Again, we've reached the corner, so we don't have to skip any stitch, just go straight into the upcoming stitch and make a double crochet like this, and then make a consecutive double crochet, and then chain 2, and then basically repeat the whole process for this side as well. And then we have reached the end, and I just need to make our last 2 double crochet back to back. This is my first double crochet and my very last double crochet. And then last but not least, we need to chain 2 to finish off. So go ahead and chain 2, and then we need to connect it back to the very first chain that we did here. So insert a hook into the third V. So 1, 2, 3, this V right here. We're just going to insert our hook into the back loop. Basically just pick up any loop from that V, pick it up, and then we're going to do a slip stitch to connect it back to the very first, the beginning of the row. After you picked up a loop, do a yarn under, grab the working yarn, pull it through the loop. Then we have 2 loops on our hook. With the loop that we pulled up, which is the loop on the left, pull it through the loop on the right here. So just pull it through like this and then tighten it. And tightening it is very, very important. Then we're going to chain 1 to start a new round. And for this round, we're just going to make single crochet. Just single crochet all across. So first insert your hook back into the same loop that we did the slip stitch and chain 1 in. Then make a single crochet. So yarn under, pull it through the loop. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops on our hook. And that's the exact stitch that we made in the bottom piece. And for the first stitch, mark it with a stitch marker. And now we're going to insert our hook into the upcoming stitch, which is the double crochet. So right on top of the double crochet, you'll see a V. Insert a hook underneath the V like this, going through both loops, and then do a single crochet. So yarn under, pull up a loop. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops on our hook. Like this. Now for the upcoming stitches, as you can see, here is a gap right here. We're just going to insert our hook into the gap and then just place a single crochet here. We're going to make 2 single crochet in this gap. This is my first single crochet. Insert our hook back into the gap and then going in for a second single crochet. Like this. And then now we reach the double crochet part and then make 2 consecutive single crochet on the double crochet. So insert a hook to the V and then yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops at a time. Like this. Then insert a hook into the upcoming V like this, yarn under, pull through the stitch. Now have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on our hook. Like this. Now we reach the gap again, insert a hook into the gap, then place 2 single crochet in the gap. So your hook into the gap, yarn under, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. And then on the double crochet, just place 1 single crochet on each double crochet. And then your hook should be going under the V. And this part's probably going to be kind of repetitive, so when you meet the gap here, just place 2 single crochet into the gap, and then when you meet the 2 double crochet, just place 2 single crochet on top of the 2 double crochet, just 1 stitch at a time. And then now we've reached the corner, and the corner is basically the same thing. Since it's a gap, we just insert our hook into the gap, make 2 single crochet into the gap, like this. Making my second single crochet. And then just like that, again, insert our hook into the upcoming double crochet. And then make another single crochet into the double crochet, like this. And we're basically going to repeat this pattern all over for the entire round, and I'm just gonna go a little bit quicker and then I'll meet you when I'm done. Now we're almost the end, and I'm on the double crochet stitch. And then in the gap, insert a hook into the gap here, place 2 single crochet like normal. And then we have reached the very first stitch, and that is where we do a slip stitch, which connects our last stitch to the very first stitch. Insert your hook into the very first stitch, do a slip stitch, so yarn under, pull it through the stitch, pull it through the loop on your hook like this, and then tighten it. And then here is our first 2 rounds, and for the entire bag, we are just going to repeat these 2 rounds. So the first round would be double crochet with gaps, and the second round would be just a whole round of single crochet. Now let's start round 3, basically repeating round 1. Start by chaining 3. This is a double crochet with gaps round. So chain 3 like this. Then we're going to make a double crochet into the next stitch, not the stitch that we made the chain in. Then make a double crochet here. Then the chain 3 actually counts as a double crochet, so we're just going to insert our stitch marker into the third chain here, the third V from the bottom up. Then continue making the gap, so chain 2, so yarn over, pull through twice, and then skip 2 stitches, and then make our double crochet into the third stitch. So yarn over, pull through 2 loops at a time, like this. Yarn over again, insert your hook into the upcoming stitch, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops at a time. Then to make the gap, chain 2, insert a hook into the third stitch, skipping 2 stitches, then make 2 double crochet back to back, like this. Basically, you can already see the pattern is repeating round 1. And then just skipping 2 stitches, place 2 back-to-back double crochet, and then make the gap again, chain 2, and then skip 2 stitches, insert a hook into the third stitch, and then make another double crochet. This is gonna be very, very repetitive, as you can see. Now I'm chaining 2 to make the gap, and unlike round 1, when we reach the corner, we have to skip 2 stitches now. So basically from round 3 and onwards, all the double crochet rounds, when you reach the corner stitch, you still have to skip 2 stitches, unlike the first round. As you can see, I'm going through it a little bit quicker than usual because it's getting very repetitive. I don't want to bore you guys. So if you want a more detailed, slowed version, you can always rewatch round 1. And I've reached the end, and I'm gonna chain 2, and then just do a slip stitch back to the very first stitch, aka the first chain. Insert your hook into where the stitch marker was located, basically the top chain, then yarn under, pull it through the loop, the chain, and then pull it through the loop on your hook like this, and then tighten it. And now it's time for the single crochet round, so start by chaining 1 to start, and insert our hook into the double crochet, basically the first stitch here, this little hole, and then place our first single crochet. So yarn under, pull it through the stitch, we got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on our hook. Then mark it with a stitch marker like this. And then make another single crochet on the double crochet. So you should be going under 2 loops, basically a V. And then place a single crochet. When you reach the gap here, remember we're gonna make 2 single crochet in all the gaps. I'm just making my second single crochet in the gap, like this. And then when I reach the double crochet, just place 1 single crochet in each double crochet. So again, placing 2 single crochet in the gap, and then 2 single crochet in the double crochet. So this is also kind of repetitive, so just gonna go over it a little bit quicker. And then basically we're just going to repeat these 2 rounds, a double crochet round with gaps, and then followed by a single crochet row, putting 1 single crochet in each and every stitch, 2 single crochet in the gap, 2 single crochet on top of the 2 double crochet. You're gonna repeat this until you've reached the desired height for your bag. So just wanted to check in with you guys. I'm on my 6th round and on the single crochet round. So now I've just finished up a yarn ball like this, and we're just gonna grab another ball of the same color and then grab the yarn tail. We're basically gonna tie a knot, so grab both the yarn tail from the new yarn ball and then also the leftover yarn tail. We're gonna make a loop like this and then bring the yarn tail through the hole, and that would tie a knot. And then make sure to tighten the knot, and then after this we just have to continue crocheting. And when you crochet and you meet the knot here, make sure that you don't put the knot in front of the piece on the outside. Make sure that the knot stays in the inside of our piece. So just kind of hold onto the knot using your finger to make sure it doesn't come outside. And then just continue crocheting just like normal. On top of that, you can grab onto the knot, the yarn tail of the knot, and then when you crochet a stitch, make sure that it's caught on your hook so that you can hide the tail inside the stitches like this. When you insert your hook, place the yarn tail on your hook, and you have just hidden the yarn tail into the stitches. From now on, I'll just be crocheting and repeating round 1 and round 2, just the same thing all over again. And when you finish up a yarn ball, make sure to connect to the second yarn ball by tying a knot like how I showed you just now, and from time to time I'll check in with you. So now I'm pretty happy with this length now, and I'm just going to finish off my very last round, and then we'll be able to start making the handles of the bag. And by then I'll have a total of 16 groups of double crochet and single crochet rounds. So I have a total of 32 rounds by then. But if you want your bag to have more depth, like a taller bag or a shorter bag, then you can just crochet till your desired length. You don't have to follow the number of rounds I've done. Now I ended with a single crochet round, and now it's time to make the handles. So we're gonna look at the bottom of our bag here. We're gonna align the two sides of the bottom of our piece to the top row here, and then use the stitch marker to indicate that. And then mark the other side as well. Then we're gonna use these two stitch markers and count inwards until we have 6 double crochet in the middle. Then we're gonna move the stitch marker to indicate where the middle of the 6 double crochet is. You can see that within the 2 stitch marker there is 6 double crochet in total. See how there's 2 double crochet back to back? We're going to insert our stitch marker into the double crochet that's closest to the center. Then we're going to turn the piece over and repeat what we've done on this side as well. First we're going to mark the side of the bottom on our top row like this, and then use that indicator and then find the middle 6 double crochet. And then again here, we're going to insert our stitch marker into the double crochet that's closest to the center. So congrats, you're very, very close to finishing this bag. We're just going to make the bag strap now, and you're going to want to chain one. I already did chain one off camera. And then insert your hook into the first stitch and then make a whole single crochet row until the stitch marker. So same single crochet that we've been doing, just placing 1 single crochet on top of the previous single crochet row. So now I'm on my second last stitch here, and I've reached my stitch marker, so remove it and then place your very last stitch into the stitch where the stitch marker was. And now we're going to make the back strap, and the length of the strap depends on your own personal preference. If you want longer strap, you're going to want to chain more, but if you want shorter strap, you can chain less. So in this part, we're just going to start chaining. So just yarn over, pull through, yarn over on the working yarn, pull through on the loop on your hook, and basically chain until your desired length. I'm going to start by chaining 100, and then I could add more or unravel the yarn and make it shorter, and I'll see from there. I ended up making 120 chains, like this long, but yours may be different and that's totally fine. Just remember the number of chains you did and do the exact same number of chains for the other side. And now we're going to connect the strap to the other side of the stitch marker here. And to connect, we first need to make sure that the chain is not twisted. So grab onto the chains using your finger and slide it on your 2 fingers to make sure it's not twisted. Then remove the stitch marker, and then you're going to want to insert your hook into exactly where the stitch marker was placed. Then we're going to make a single crochet. So if you remember, yarn under on the working yarn, pull it through the stitch. Now we have 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook like this. And we have just connected to the other side. Now we're going to continue making single crochet all across until the other side, until you meet the stitch marker on the other side, and we'll make another strap like this. So now just make 1 single crochet on each and every stitch all across. Now I have just reached my stitch marker. Then you will want to remove it and then place your very last stitch right on the stitch that your stitch marker was placed. Then now we're going to make the strap. So again, make a bunch of chains, yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook, and since I did 120 on the other side, you're going to want to match that same number of chains that you did. So I have just finished chaining 120. Your number of chains may be different and that's fine. And we're gonna slide the strap on our fingers to make sure it's not twisted. Then we're gonna remove the stitch marker, then insert your hook into the exact same stitch, then place a single crochet. So yarn under, pull it through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So again, placing 1 single crochet in each and every stitch until you finish the round. My camera accidentally stopped recording at some point, but basically I finished off the round by slip stitching to the very first stitch and chaining 1 and started a new round and did a whole new round of single crochet. You can see that there's a little bump here. That's where my round started. And then I just crochet till I meet the strap here. Then I'm just making my last stitch before the strap, and you can see I've reached the chains, and we're still gonna be making a bunch of single crochet on each and every chain. But where do we insert our hook into the chain? So you can see that there is a V in every chain. We're gonna insert our hook right into the middle of the V here, and when you insert your hook, you should be going under a loop, just 1 loop here, and you're gonna place a single crochet there, and then insert your hook into the second chain right into the V, picking up 1 loop, and then place a single crochet. Then again, insert your hook into the V, pick up 1 loop like this, and then do a single crochet. Basically gonna repeat this whole process on this strap. And I'm on my very last stitch of the strap here. Then we're gonna start crocheting on the body of the bag. Then just insert a hook into the single crochet there, then place 1 on top. Just gonna repeat this. It's gonna be very repetitive. We're just going to make another row of single crochet until we meet the strap, which is the chain. Then I have reached the strap. Now we're just going to crochet a bunch of single crochet on each and every chain. So insert your hook into the V, and you will pick up 1 loop here and place a single crochet. This is my first single crochet for the strap, and I'm making my second. Basically the same thing as we did for the previous strap. It's gonna be very repetitive. Now I'm on my very last stitch for the strap, and then then we're just going to make a bunch of single crochet on top of the single crochet row. Now we're just going to crochet till the round ends and when you meet the first single crochet of the round. Now I'm on my very last stitch here, and we're just going to do a slip stitch to the very first stitch and then chain 1, and that would start a new round. And for this round it's just 1 single crochet on each and every stitch, so this is going to be the same as the one we did before, so just 1 single crochet in each and every stitch, including the strap. Now I have just reached the strap, and if you're wondering how to do it, this is how I do it. Basically just the same thing. Insert hook into the stitch going under both loops of the V and place a single crochet. It's basically just like how we normally do, except it's on the strap. Now we're back onto the body of the bag, so again just 1 single crochet each time. Now I'm just finished off the round. I'm making my very last stitches, and we're just going to do a slip stitch to the very first stitch. Insert hook into the first stitch, yarn under, pull through the stitch and pull through the loop on your hook and tighten it, just like this. And we're about to fasten off, then we're going to pull a big loop like this, then we're going to grab our scissors and cut the tail like this. Then pull the yarn tail through the loop like this, thread it through the darning needle, and now we're just going to insert our needle into the very first stitch here, just going under the V, and then pull it through. And we'll be able to hide the yarn tail from the inside of our bag. To hide the yarn tail, we're going to use a darning needle to pick up any loop from the inside of the bag. Just pick it up and pull it through. Then we're going to do this again and again. So pick up another loop, just any random loop from inside of the pouch and pull it through. So keep on picking up loops and just trying to hide the tail inside the stitch, and at the end cut it, and you're finally done with it. It's crazy how far you've come, and I'm very proud of you. And if you like the tutorial and would love to support us, you can get our matching yarn at lowthingsworld.com.